welcome to Equestrian Fitness with Gemma. This is Equestrian Reset. There are going to be 10 workouts, 5 each week, aimed Monday to Friday. And then you'll get like 2 pole work sessions to do throughout the week, and then 2 the following week. So let's get ready to get our bodies all warmed up, ready for the season ahead, any aims, ambitions that you have got. Hopefully this will warm our body up, ready to help you achieve those goals. So we're going to get started in child's pose. So you don't need any props for any of these exercises. If you've got a mat, that's fantastic. If not, just use your carpet and that will do just as good. So no shoes on, no socks, it makes it less slippy. And we are just going to go onto our knees and we're going to put our hips onto our heels. And we're just going to slowly go down, widen your knees as wide as what is comfortable for you. So your big toes are going to stay together, your knees go wide apart. And then we're just going to bring our forearms out in front of us and walk our palms forward and rest our forehead down onto the mat. So I'm just going to take a few breaths here, just inhaling and exhaling as you go. So this exercise is really good for widening up and loosening up those knees. So we don't want to squeeze the knee when we're in the saddle. We want to keep our knee nice and loose so we're not ending up with a tight thigh and a tight seat, which would end up restricting our horse's movement. We end up with a horse that lacks willingness to move forward. And when they do move forward, it's not got that lovely rhythm we like to look for when we're doing dressage. So just keep trying to sink those hips down onto the heels. Yeah, really good. And just feel anywhere that feels tight this morning. If you can widen those knees a little bit more, have a little go. And press those armpits down towards the mat. So keeping your palms where they are, we're going to take a nice big inhale. We're going to lift up with our hips. And we're going to bring our shoulders over the top of our palms. And then we're going to exhale and we're going to sink our hips back down. So we're just going to keep working through these. Keeping our back nice and flat. Our belly button tucked back towards our spine. And pressing those armpits down towards the ground. So we're just getting a little bit of hip mobility here. So if you ever struggle with doing a squat, this is a great one for warming up and getting those hips a little bit mobile to help you with a squat. Don't worry, we're not doing any squats today. That's it. And just keep it with the breath. So let the movement match the breath. Nice, slow, steady movements. And your hips don't need to go all the way back to your heels. Just feel what's comfortable for you. Remembering this is day 1, so we don't want to give it all today and not be able to get back on the mat tomorrow. And then on the next inhale, as we rise up, we're going to bring our knees a little bit closer together, our feet as wide as our knees. So we're ending up in our tabletop pose. We're going to tuck our tailbone underneath us. We're going to take our right hand and we're going to raise it up towards the sky. If you can, you're going to follow it with your gaze. That's it. And then we're going to thread our hand through and relax our ear and the side of our face down towards the mat. So this is really good for helping you with turns and circles whilst on the horse. It's loosening up those shoulders. We want to be able to move our shoulders independently of the rest of our body. So this is a great one for that. That's great. And then we're going to re-extend it up towards the sky. So if you can stretch a little bit further that time. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a little bit of cat and cow. So on the inhale, we're going to drop the belly, lift the gaze, the tailbone goes up. And on the exhale, round and contract. Your chin goes towards your chest. So keep moving through these. Just waking up your spine. That's good. So this is really good for correcting a hollow back when you're in the saddle. And just working on that back strength. When we ride those downwards transitions, we can use our back aids to help us rather than having to just use your rein aids. That's great. And we go back to our neutral tabletop. And we take our left hand. This time we're going to raise it up towards the sky. Follow it with your gaze. And then you're going to thread it through. Good. If you want to, when you do this, thread the needle, you can put your right arm up and overhead, or you can rest it on your lower back if you want to make this a little bit more difficult. This is also a great one for if you do a lot of road hacking and you want to indicate which direction you're going. You want to be able to put your arm out to the side without your horse wandering into the middle of the road. So it just makes us a little bit more mobile, able to move with a bit more freedom whilst in the saddle and not affecting our horse's way of movement. And then we raise back up towards the sky. You should be able to go a little bit further. And then rest your palm back onto the ground. And from here, we're just going to go onto our back so we can roll over slowly with control. Nothing too vigorous today. So we're going to start to lower our backs down towards the ground. And then just take a little bit of time to get grounded. That's it. Tuck that tailbone underneath. Bring your heels a little bit closer to your body. Your palms can face up towards the sky. Feet are hip width distance apart. And I just want you to peel up vertebrae by vertebrae up off the ground, pressing those hips up towards the sky. Just working on keeping your pelvis nice and level. And that's a great one for this exercise, is just making us aware of what our pelvis is like. Do we drop one side? Are we stronger one side? So try and you can look down, just check your pelvis is level. We don't want our knees to fall to the side. So hug in through the middle of your thighs. And then we can relax back down. Keeping your feet where they are, we're just going to make sure our lower back is grounded towards the ground. We don't want a gap between the lower back and the mat. Press that spine down towards the ground. And then we're going to take our hands and we're going to interlace them behind your neck. So you're going to support your neck here, keeping your core engaged. We're going to do a little bit of core work. So we've done a bit of mobility. Now we're going to work on our core. And so keeping those heels exactly where they are to start with. Just making sure we can keep engaged through our core. Elbows are nice and wide. So we're going to keep our neck nice and long. And with each exhale, we're going to hug in with those ribs. And then we're just going to lift our head up off the mat. That's it. We're not bringing in our elbows towards each other. We're not doing the crunch. We're keeping our elbows wide. We're looking up towards the sky. It might help to look slightly behind, not looking directly up. Look a little bit past your forehead. Keep that core engaged. Now this might be enough for you. You might feel that in your core. We don't want any crunching, any rounding here. We're keeping our neck long. Now we want to make this a little bit harder, keeping that belly button back towards our spine. We're going to lift up and we're going to hover our knees above our hips, and we're going to stay nice and parallel with the lower leg towards the mat, keeping that core engaged, back flat. We don't want any rounding. Elbows are staying wide. Your back is flat to the ground. If you find this a little bit too difficult, you can bring your knees slightly closer to your body, but our aim is to have them just resting above our hips. And then when you're in this position, we're going to work on some ankle mobility. So you can take your right ankle and you can circle it any direction you want, swapping direction, making sure that back is staying flat to the mat. Really good. We're not here for too much longer. Swap ankles. This ankle mobility is going to help you with your heels going down whilst you're riding. That's it. Keep that core nice and tight. Super. And then we'll just hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then relax your feet back to the ground. And then relax your head to the mat. And just take a minute here just to thank yourself for coming onto the mat this morning. We are not quite finished, but that's just a little bit of core work to get us started. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to try that again. And we're just going to do a little hold in the same position. So if you just managed to lift your head off the mat this last time, you're going to have a go at lifting those legs up. So first of all, set yourself up. Lower back is flat to the ground. Interlace your fingers behind your neck in the more unusual way this time. We'll just mix things up. Elbows stay wide, long through the neck. No crunching, no rounding, remember. You are going to engage that core, back is flat, and you're going to lift your head off the mat, and then you're going to go ahead and lift your legs off the mat. And we're just going to hold. That's it. Keeping that back flat. Neck is long. Look up and overhead. Super. Feel that core working. That's it. Elbows are staying wide. This is going to help us with our sitting trots. It's going to help us with our balance, sitting up nice and tall if you're doing your dressage. It's going to help you balance as you go for your show jumps. It's going to help you stay off in the saddle without tipping too far forward if you're going cross country. And that's great. So we can slowly rest those feet back to the mat, head back onto the mat, and just press up, heels towards the body, and press up and give your belly a nice rub because we've worked it out quite well there. So you can lower your hips back to the ground. We're going to cross at the ankles and we are going to meet in our downward facing dog. If you struggle with a downward facing dog, you can some blocks or some jumpers or some towels and put your hands up on them, and it will help you if you lack a little bit of flexibility in your hamstrings. So from your tabletop pose, we put our palms out in front of us. We tuck our toes underneath and we lift our hips. We press them up and we press them back. That's it. So this helps work on our long leg, low heel for when you're in the saddle, so you'll have a more effective leg. So from here, just really think, if you're struggling with your hamstrings, bend your knees and you're more looking for straightness in the back and pressing that tailbone up towards the sky. So don't worry if the legs aren't completely straight here. And then we're just going to go forward into a high plank. And we're going to stay nice and engaged in our core. If this is a little bit too difficult, just rest your knees onto the mat and just get that little bit of arm strength and you can hold here. But if not, and you're up in this high plank, that is great. Your neck is nice and long. And we're just going to work on a little exercise up in this high plank. So we're going to keep our left leg straight and our right knee is going to tuck in towards the chest and then go back out. And then the left knee is going to tuck in towards the chest and then go back out. So just keep working through these, looking straight down, tucking in, working on a little bit of mobility through the hips, a little bit of core strength, nice and slow. And then you can start to speed it up and go as fast as you want here. That's it, let's go a little bit faster. Super, couple more. Really good. And then back to your plank. We'll then from the plank lower down onto our bellies, elbows tuck it in, and then we're going to press up with our palms, heart goes forward, our feet are flat and out behind, nice little stretch for our back, and then we relax back down. Super! So that is day one of the Equestrian Reset. I hope you enjoyed it. We worked a little bit of mobility with a little bit of core to help us with our riding. So if you did enjoy it, please like, comment, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye!